Good morning and welcome to the Wake.Show. I'm Fisher along with Jonny Torres. Happy Wednesday morning. We're halfway there. Make it to the weekend. Christmas right around the corner, and then I'm assuming most of you have next week off. I think we're going to do ourselves a service and take next Tuesday off, so the day after Christmas, but then continue with shows the rest of the week. Very excited about that. We got a lot going on today, a lot of guests coming in. And how are you doing this morning, Jonny Torres?
Pretty good. Got an interesting story about last night, which I hope we can get to later, but I'm excited because, as you said, we do have a pretty packed show today, mostly in the second hour, but it's going to be a fun show.
Well, coming up in a couple of minutes, we'll check in with our boy Eric from TNL Nutrition Coaching, and have him yell at us a little bit, or yell at me a little bit.
Oh, he will.
And I got on the scale this morning, but I'm a little annoyed about what's. We'll get to that here in a second. Here we go. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. Take a look at the 5 and 10 glistening once again with candy canes and silver lanes aglow.
I was going to say, I can't sing along. I can't see the lyrics.
There we go. Like Christmas.
Toys in every store. It's the prettiest sight to see is the holly that will be upon in your front door.
A pair of hop-along boots and a pistol that shoots and witch in the Barney and Ben. Dolls that don't talk will go for a walk is a hope of Janice and Jen. And Mom and Dad can hardly wait for school to start again. Here we go.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. There's a tree in the Grand Hotel, one in the park as well. Sturdy kind that doesn't mind the snow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Soon the bells will start, and the thing that will make them ring is the carol that you'll sing right within your heart. Right within your heart.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, sloppy, but
it's okay. It gets the show started off on the right foot, I think. Maybe that's the exact opposite is true, but maybe it gets the show started off on the right foot. All right, let's get to stuff you should know, and then we'll pull up Eric and talk a little nutrition today. First up, the Florida State. I hate that your boy's in the news, man. Your boy's in the top of the news this morning.
Yeah, it's getting ugly.
Yeah, a Florida State Senate investigation into sexual misconduct allegations against Senator Jack Latvala. Right? Latvala has been referred to law enforcement after a retired judge found that the Clearwater Republican may have committed both sexual harassment and a sexual assault against multiple women, including allegations of quid pro quo physical contact or sexual intimacy in exchange for support of legislative initiatives. He vehemently denies this, and we'll come back to this story a little bit later in the show because I want to get Jonny Torres' takes. Because you guys are you just acquaintances, Republican acquaintances, or have you become friends over the years?
No, I would say I'm more friends with his son than I am with him. And so, I mean, obviously I'll run into Dad from time to time, but his son, who's also state representative, him I would say we're a little bit more than acquaintances with. We're buds, but we just don't see each other very much.
Okay. The Office of Compliance of the U.S. House and Representatives revealed on Tuesday 3 additional sexual harassment settlements paid out, totaling $115,000. The disclosure comes just 1 month after the Washington Post revealed the office paid more than $17 million since 1997 to settle 264 workplace complaints, including harassment allegations. A Haines City High School teacher has been arrested for sexually explicit conversations and photos that she sent to a 15-year-old Texas boy. She stated that she sent the nude photos before she learned his real age. The boy they had met on Xbox One. The boy had said he was 19 years old. So she turns herself into the cops after this. But then doesn't stop because she's in love. And she says, this is the only man that understands me. It's not a man. No. It's a 15-year-old boy working you on the internet, lady.
And if you think that a 15-year-old boy understands you, then I think you definitely need to line up over at the therapist's office.
Right, because if a 15-year-old boy does understand you, and I'm sorry, I feel sorry for you, lady. But I guess that's where we are.
But you see it, and typically it's in this like right out of school age range. like these early mid-20s teachers that seem to have this issue.
She's 27.
But I mean, especially when they go straight to teach in high school. I mean, a best friend of mine, intentionally avoided from teaching in high school because he realized how close he was in age to a lot of the students that he'd be teaching.
Number of U.S. deaths at work from unintentional drug and alcohol overdoses jumped more than 30% in 2016, showing that the nation's struggle with a deadly opioid epidemic is migrating to the workplace. And the Tampa Bay Lightning lost a buzzer beater last night, a power play with 2.3 seconds left to go in the game, a dramatic 4-3 defeat at the hands of the Golden Knights, which snapped Tampa Bay's 7-game win streak.
A new team of all things, too. That's got to hurt.
Well, I guess they're one of the better teams in the league, too.
It's Vegas. I'm sure they got plenty of money to build a reputable team.
And that is stuff you should know for Wednesday, December 20th. All right. Let me, as I'm pulling up Eric here, what do we got coming up on the show today? We got any more giveaways today?
Not today.
Okay.
I don't want to, but I do appreciate everybody who signed up through the website on our contest page. And again, if you just sign up once, you're in the running for all of our contests. And so go right now to the Wake.Show. All the way at the bottom of the page, you'll see your contest form. You fill that out, you're in the running for when we give away something.
All right. How's your internet this morning?
Mine's hopefully okay, because if not, we wouldn't be on the air.
Yeah.
You might be on the wrong Wi-Fi signal. That happens to me sometimes.
Oh, you're right. You're right. That is likely the case where it'll end up hooking up to something. Yeah, I want to be in the 5G one, right?
Yep.
Okay. So when that connects, we should be able to hook up with Eric. Eric normally is on with us at 8:45 on. That's why nothing would download. Stupid me. All right, now let's try this. There we go. Sorry about the little this portion of the program here. As you can see, we switched things. I don't even know how it looks. How does it look, by the way? Are you liking this or not liking this new?
The side angle needs work, but
okay.
yeah. But I think this front one works really well.
What about the lighting and whatnot?
I think lighting's we'll have to adjust that as well. But I think what you'll probably have to do to avoid having to turn around like that is probably just mirror your screen back to how we used to do it.
Ah, yes, you're right. All right, we'll get Eric up here. I don't need to see Eric.
And I appreciate him, coming on earlier than usual because, we do have such a packed show today.
I told him 7:15, and it's 7:20, so I feel kind of bad.
You can bump up the levels a little bit, by the way.
All right. Good morning.
Oh.
What the heck? Oh, now he's trying to call me.
He's trying to call you back. You missed your call. Gotta love technology.
Look at that. All right, there we go. We're cooking.
Apparently it's midnight wherever he's at.
Hold on.
It is time to become one with your destiny.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show from TNL Nutrition Coaching. Eric Stratman, how you do? Darth Stratman, how you doing this morning, sir?
Very good. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, doing great.
Let me get some light on in here.
Say, what are you in your bed? Oh, there you go.
Couldn't resist that. No, I'm in my living room. I just wanted to, get this going.
All right. Well, listen.
And for all of us, that are bacon lovers. There you go.
Look at that. That's a cool shirt,
it, baby.
We'll lift for.
Maybe we can bounce it out a little bit.
Bounce it out. You
can bring his levels down a little bit.
You and Terry Crews. All right, I wanted to bring up the picture of my. Let's see if I can do this or if it's going to mess everything up here. Because I did get on the scale this morning and weigh myself. So
nice.
All right.
How are those measurements working out?
Well, we can start right there. All right. So, by the way, here again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a 45-year-old man that feels like a 99-year-old every time that I try to put something on this screen and then go to simply try to minimize it so I can get to something else, and I have to turn.
You got it stretched. So
I have to turn to my son, John. Hey, Johnny, can you help Grandpa minimize a GD window this morning?
We will still have to.
It actually looks better in the light.
While we are waiting, you will now.
Oh, you know what? I thought it was one of those like filters. I thought it was a filter thing.
No,
Yeah,
this is
so
the
did
real
I.
deal, baby.
All right, so can you help me here, Johnny? Here's what I want to do. I want to bring up my bare feet and my scale so you can see the numbers this morning.
Yeah,
but I have to minimize this effing thing now.
Yeah, hit F11.
F you. No, sorry. That was uncalled for. F11. I got a Mac, man. There's no F11 on a Mac.
Yeah, top right.
I like mac and cheese.
Top right. No, you have PC. There's no F1s and F2s and F3s.
I'm looking at an F11 on a Mac right here.
Okay, not a MacBook Pro.
Hold on.
Please, yeah. I'm sorry that I am this is so agitating right now that it's such a simple. See, all right, so I don't feel so bad now.
Well, hold on. So why don't you keep talking? Oh, great.
That's how I feel.
All right, Eric, let's just talk. Well, so while he's trying to do that, so I'm all excited. Last night, I head out to my gig, and I swing into a CVS or Walgreens rather beforehand, because
nice.
I figure I need to get my measuring tape, right? So they have these little sewing kits and whatnot. One of the sewing kits has a measuring tape in it. Perfect. Nice. $4.95. I buy it. So I break it out this morning, and here's the extent of the measuring tape. It gives you about 2 feet worth of. It gives you 26 inches of measuring tape. How does this make any sense at all?
It does. I mean, unless you're making a 4-year-old a pair of shorts, I don't think you could really do much with that.
How does this make? Why is this even in a kit? I guess I have no idea.
So you just make the pass by Michael's or Joann's or whatever, and get one of the 72-inch or 60-inch material tapes and get it done. So just lay it on me. What was the weight?
So the weight was 248.8 this morning.
All right.
Or 248.4 something. Yeah, 248.4. So that's not what I do not like that. I was below 240 just a couple of months ago. I put on 10 pounds in the last, basically since I got let go of my last gig, and was also in the middle of the house buying process, and food is my anti-anxiety medicine.
Yep.
So I put on over 10 pounds in the last couple months, and I'm not happy about that.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, when my wife was pregnant with my son, we were about to open TNL CrossFit, a little over 10 years ago, and we had about a 3-month delay between the old facility we were in, the new facility. I put on 35 lbs.
What?
Pretty awesome, yeah.
I see. When I hear that kind of stuff from somebody like you, there we go. Just put that up over your face. But when I hear that kind of stuff coming from somebody like you, and I've known you for 15 years, and you've always been in great shape. The one that makes me, honestly, it does make me feel a little bit better that even somebody like you can get into a phase where, for whatever reason, next thing you know, you're packing on the pounds.
Yeah, you gotta, what I like to really emphasize to everybody is we have seasons in our life, right? We can't be perfect. We can't have all these things that happen, consistently for us. And as we touched on the first show, and I'll try to touch on this every show, consistently average always trumps seldom perfection. So you just stay average with it. Yeah, I packed on those 35, but it took me about half of that. Well, no, it's about the same amount of time to take it off. But, and that's the other thing with weight gain. You don't gain 5 pounds in a weekend. Some people get on the scale and go, oh my gosh, I gained 5 pounds this weekend. But like we said before, it takes 2 weeks of consistently eating bad. Like you're saying, you put on 10 pounds, you probably put that 10 pounds on because you had weeks of habitual rest and eating. Now that we're going to give you activity and monitor your calories, which we've been doing okay, which I'm proud of you. You got a little action this week,
Getting there.
We're going on, and then, and we're looking at your weight. We're saying 248.8, and that's where the benefit of the measurements are going to come in for us, is because if we can now quantify where that weight is gone, because if you went up a pound, but you lost a 1/4 inch on your waist, I know you gained a little bit of muscle. Your muscle's retaining a little bit more water, because muscle is 70% water, so a lot of people don't like to see weight gain during a weight loss process. But let's say you lost 5 pounds, and then you gained a 1/2 inch on your waist, well, that's a problem because you're super dehydrated. and you're gaining fat and losing muscle. That's not something we want, even though the scale said 5 pounds off.
Also, I think something you've brought it up every week, and I think it's something that you probably will or should bring up every single week, and that is when you talk about that perfection versus average.
Yeah.
Because I know for me, and I would imagine for a lot of people, when we start a new diet, as soon as we F it up, that's it. That's it. You're like, well, I screwed it up. I can't do this, and I'll just wait till next year. I'll start next January 1st.
Yeah, exactly. Forget Monday. Let's go next year.
Right. So that you bring that up every single week, I think is going to be important, not just for me, but for everybody else watching.
Absolutely.
And talk about that a little bit more. What that means to be consistently average versus every now and again perfect.
Great that we're highlighting this is because, it's a mindset initially, right? So you have to have the discipline or the wherewithal to have an exercise program that you're going to go, whether that's 15 minutes of walking a day or that is going to be, we're going to prep our food. Those are all good items. But, the key is that if we gave you a calorie goal, which we did in your MyFitnessPal, and if you're near it every day, then that's average. If you hit it on the nose 3 days in a row, and then you're like, okay, well, the next day I went over by 500 calories, and then the next day you're right near there, that's where we're going to get that consistently average. I mean, if you're only going to be satisfied being within 10 calories of your goal, and then if you're not there, then you're way over. That's what we want to get away from, that people have to understand that if you're close to what you set out to do, then it's key, but consistently average of what? Now you have a goal. You have a macronutrient, protein, fat, and carbohydrate goal that we can look at going after, and then also we have the side of exercise. We said we wanted you to get 20 to 30 minutes in a day, so that's something that I don't care what you're doing yet. It's just starting something. Let's see a week or two of some activity every single day. Now, if you were up here where I'm at, which I'll give you a little tour here. Let's see if I can flip this around here. No, I'll just have to do the old hand. But this is what I got today.
Jeez,
dude, I just shoveled a bunch of snow in my front. This is my back. If you want to go swimming, you can go swimming. Hang out. But
if
you want
that's
barbecue,
a pool down there.
Keep the grill. We keep the grill ready to go. So. That way you got the grill if you need it. But, really what I want to emphasize with that is it's just, getting out there doing something. So if I already shoveled for 15 minutes, that would count as part of my cardiovascular activity. I don't care if people walk, because it's going to be way more of an impact on you mentally to eat correctly, to hit your calorie goal when you've exercised, because science has proved it, that the stimulation that you get neurologically from exercise is not only more motivating, it just puts you in a better mindset all around, and it's much easier to accomplish these goals and stay, as we said, consistently average.
I know that it's not much, but since I started from nothing last week, I started as soon as I get home from the show.
Nice.
I just grab the kids, the Yorkies, and just take them out, just leash them up and head out. And, we'll be out for at least 20 minutes, closer to 30 minutes every single day now. And I know that is
awesome.
It is good for right now, because I'm starting at nothing. This will at least start that routine that you were talking about. And then, as we get into the beginning of the year, hopefully take that to the next level.
The next level, the TNL.
That's
I love
right.
it.
TNL coaching.
I'll slide you the fiber for getting that subliminal message of TNL.
Well,
I think you're hitting the nail on the head there with doing something. How many people are in your position, right? They can't just drop everything and go work out for an hour and a half every single day.
Right.
They might only have 10 or 15 minutes. Now, with your schedule and what you're doing, maybe we add, after the first of the year, we add some walking lunges in there, maybe a few burpees away from the dog poop piles, maybe some air squats, that can make a 20-minute walk a ton of exercise instead of just walking. So there's a lot of options that we can have. You don't have to worry about running your dogs to death. I'm like, hey, just do sprints with them.
Yeah,
you're dragging them down the street. That's not
You're right. As I'm walking, I might get to find those little moments just to do, 3, 4, 5, 6 lunges while I'm walking the Yorkies, and hopefully don't break my knee on the cement.
Walk in the grass.
All right, Darth Stratman, we will talk to you next week.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Merry Christmas.
Have a great week.
Merry Christmas. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Eric Stratman from TNL Nutrition Coaching. If you want to track him down on Facebook, it's TNL Nutrition Coaching on Facebook. All right. And Johnny.
See, I'm doing so well with all this food tracking.
Are you really?
We didn't even have to talk about me because that's how good I'm doing.
All right. You're being sarcastic?
No, I mean, I am doing pretty well with it. I've been keeping up with it.
Now, have you been paying attention? Now, are you just loading it in and then moving on, or are you looking at the
I'm looking at it. No, yeah, I'm following it, and I'm trying to, kind of hit my marks, and so I would say, some days I go a little over, some days I get a little, a little under, but so far, calorie count wise, I think I'm on point. Now, in terms of the quality of what I'm eating, sugar wise and carb wise and all that stuff is probably going to be an issue.
Yeah, that was my next question. Have you been paying attention to the protein, carb, fat?
Oh no.
Thing. All right, just the I think that's fine. I think for especially somebody like me, man, just to get into the habit before the end of the year, going into the new year, I think right now we're laying the foundation to have a better chance at success once we get into the new year. And speaking of which, this time of year is one of my favorites because of all the year-end lists, and I don't know why I'm fascinated by them. But one of the lists this year is, for the 9th consecutive year, Americans say what word or phrase is the most annoying word or phrase to use in casual conversation. And the answer is, for the 9th year in a row, whatever. Whatevs is the most annoying word or phrase used in casual conversation. But fewer Americans feel that way than in previous years, and residents under the age of 45, compared with older counterparts, do not find the word all that bothersome. 33% of Americans consider whatever to be the most annoying word or phrase. You want to take a stab at what's number 2? It's a new one. It's brand new to the list, and the phrase just has popped up within the last year or two. Fake news. The fake news takes second place with 23% of the vote, followed closely by "no offense, but." That phrase should probably never come out. If you say no offense, but, just skip the no offense part and just get right to being offensive. It's like, no offense, but I'm going to go ahead and offend you. Then don't say no offense. There's no reason to throw that in there. With 20%. 11% think that literally is the most grating word to use in conversation. That I can understand, because I would say, I haven't done any official research on this, but I would say that 9 times out of 10, when somebody uses the word literally in casual conversation, what they are getting ready to say next is not literal at all. Literally, I was on fire. Shut the f*** up. You weren't on fire. Metaphorically, I was on fire. Not literally. In 2016, whatever received 38% to 20% for no offense, but. Right? Is another one on the list. Right? And I can't even, each garnered 14%. 8% of Americans deemed huge to be the most irritating word or phrase spoken in casual conversation. I don't know. I mean, I was going to say, I don't know that people are, I don't think huge is one of those things that people are going after as much as,
No, I think people got burnt out on it because the president. Yeah.
Yeah, between the president and then that guy, the Kia guy here.
Oh, my God, that guy's obnoxious.
Yeah, who's famous here in Jersey and Florida, or New York and Florida or something?
I'm pretty sure it's Jersey and Florida. And,
what's his name? It's not Fazzulo. I'm thinking of my buddy Brian Fazzulo. But his name's something like that, Fastulo or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Huge Tampa. Did he just have a stroke? Somebody revive that man. What the hell's going on?
And you know, and again, you know, going back to the sexual harassment stuff, I mean, like, you know, he always has like the hot chick with him, like on the thing, and he's always making like, because it's a little weird that he puts together like these cruises of people that buy cars from him, and so he'll like send you on a cruise. The catch is that he goes on the cruise as well, which I think is a little weird. I think he's just loving the partying it up. I think that's his thing.
And yeah, he said, you know, definitely more of that old school thing that our mentality that we are talking about in the news. And we're not talking about assault here. We're talking about the other end of it. And yeah, because you're right. You'll have those. Just the other day, it's a good thing you're cute. Whatever the chick name, the woman's name is. It's a good thing that you're cute. So and so. Those are the kinds of things that I wonder if they'll still be around a year from now. Right. Or we'll just be back to normal, and not only he, but everybody else will be back to that kind of stuff in a matter of no time.
Good morning to Lauren Matthews, my friend Lauren Matthews, Jeff, and Elliot, all tuning in the comment section this morning.
Hey, watching for those people watching around the world on Periscope, Twitter, and YouTube. Oh, some cool compliments you last night. Last night was absolutely packed out at a Boulevard Burgers trivia night on Tuesday nights.
Cool.
Standing room only. Great weather. You know, it was great. For December, I would like it to be a little bit cooler, but
yeah, no kidding.
But you know, listen, I can't complain. Paradise is paradise. But anyway, a lot of compliments in the show, or comments, I should say, as well. One of which last night was they're happy that we're on YouTube now because the quote, "I effing hate Facebook Live." So I don't know what it is he doesn't like about Facebook Live, but happy that we are on streaming on YouTube, streaming on Periscope,
nice.
Twitter. And also that MixLR or Mixler.
Mixler, yeah.
For the podcast. Yeah, another couple last night were telling me how they take it to work. It's in their car. They're not just sitting there at a home. It's in their car.
Awesome.
They put it in their center console, plug it up into the stereo Bluetooth wise, and listen on the way into work.
Well, and that's the reason we wanted to provide the audio only version. Obviously, we want people to be focused on the road, not drive distracted. And the audio only version not only allows you to do that because you're not having to watch the screen, but also you can lock your phone and run it through your Bluetooth without actually losing the stream, unlike Facebook and YouTube, where as soon as you lock your phone, you lose the feed.
So do you know anything about these bots on Twitter? Because when we logged in yesterday and we were doing our thing, all of a sudden, like, and I see this morning too, you know, just, you know, these just letters, pop, 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 and a couple of numbers, pop, 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 pop.
Yeah.
And then it's just, hey, and with a little heart, HEJ, heart, and a little devil. Like, I have a feeling that as soon as you pop up, all of a sudden these sex workers from around the world, or what do they call them, webcam girls?
Well, that's part of it. Some of it, I think, are just bots, you know, and people set up these bots for a variety of reasons.
And so then it detects when we're on or we're talking about certain things or it doesn't really matter. They're just trying to
just anything that's live.
Okay, anything that's live, they start tapping into the comment section. So yeah, feel free to leave comments, and we'll get to those coming up here and just a little bit before we move on from this particular article about whatever loses ground to fake news. I know you were handling some technical stuff when I started the story, but whatever again tops the list of annoying phrases or words that people use.
Right.
It's been over 20 years since Clueless, but whatever is still at the top of the list. Well, coming in second place for the very first time, fake news. People are sick and tired of hearing fake news in casual conversation.
I always thought that was kind of an annoying term. You know, it's just, and then now people are using it in casual conversation.
For everything.
Yeah, it's now like a slang term for like you're lying. Right. You know, and so I mean, it's kind of funny, but at the same time, it's kind of it's annoying. It's just not. I don't know. It just seems like such a dismissive term.
Are there any words or phrases that when you hear them, they absolutely grate on you?
I think the hashtag thing, when people are like, oh, hashtag treat yourself. You know, it's like, look, I love hashtags, but I don't like speak them. You know, like it's a written thing. I get it, right? Especially being in the digital social media space. But, I think whenever somebody's like, oh, hashtag the weekend, you know, like something like that.
They're like, hashtag punch you in the face.
Right, exactly.
The literally one does grate on me a little bit. I hate that any of this stuff grates on me because it shouldn't. It's like OCD stuff, you know. But when people use the term literally, and I was saying, nine times out of 10, whatever they're getting ready to say next is not literal.
I've been better. I've been better about, because it's become such a sore spot with people. I've tried to be better about using words like that. I mean, sparingly.
Yeah. Okay. So you've caught yourself throwing out literally a little.
Oh yeah.
I was literally on fire. No, you weren't. You weren't literally on fire. Sex robots. Sex robots coming up
Your
here.
favorite topic these days, or just robots in general. Sorry, I don't mean to lump you in there.
Well, those sex robots are fascinating. So we'll get to the sex robot here thing in just a second, but coming up next hour, we have a musical guest, Ryan Dunlap, stopping by the studio and playing a couple of songs for us before his album release party on a Friday night at Masteries on Blind Pass. It is his 4th album. Also coming up next hour, we got somebody from Hobbytown, USA coming by. And I feel like there's another person that we're squeezing in next hour as well, but that might have been Eric that we got in early. So let's get to sex robots here. Oh, man, if it wouldn't take so long. Now let's see if we can go ahead and do this. Well, what I want to do right now, just because of the new setup in here, is I want to go back to mirroring options so you can just see what is on my screen. Mirror displays, and then that should do it there. All right, perfect. And that way you guys can just follow along. All right. The Third International Congress in Love. Oh, because this Sex Robot Expo and venue switch after terror threat from offended Islamic extremists. So they're trying to have this sex and robots thing. And they end up getting a terror threat. The Third International Congress in Love and Sex with Robots has been rocked by terror threats from Muslim extremists. The 2-day conference, which started today, was supposed to take place at Goldsmiths University, where it was held last year. But organizers have been forced to move the controversial meeting of computer scientists, AI experts, and robot ethicists to a secret venue for security reasons. The second annual conference was held due to held in Malaysia. An Eskambar, a Malaysian state in 2015, but was banned by police for being illegal. So I want to play this video for you guys, too. If you don't mind. Let's see, this is just the commercial here at the beginning. But this is a sex... Oh, no, this is... Man reveals that.
No, that's not the...
Man, why?
That's a guy who's dating a porn star.
I hate...
Might not be a good idea.
No, well, I hate
playing that.
Well, I hate that these. I hate that they do this, man.
They do the auto play.
Yeah, the auto play into the next. Well, give me the one that was here when I clicked on the damn link to begin with.
You'll have to refresh.
Oh, is that all you have to do? All right. So if I do that, it'll come back to the original. Okay, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, there's an explicit warning there, so careful with. I don't know what's on this.
Can you hear it? Okay. Well. That's just a commercial. Hey, good. Yeah, now you clicked on that, so that'll open. You're smart. Let's try this again. Never mind. I apologize. Oh, wait. Maybe I muted this. No. This is what I did. It was my fault. There we go.
It's the dawn of a new age in robotics, and the digital just got physical.
It's not a dream anymore. It's a functioning robot.
If this is making this guy happy, who am I to judge?
They're modeled on pornographic representations of women. It's encouraging misogyny.
It's kind of scary cool.
You know, we want the seduction to happen, to create that bond between human and machine.
You're like talking to a real girl.
Interesting comparison.
The sex robots are coming. Part of the rise of the robot season. Thursday at 10 on Channel 4.
That's your problem, you geek. He says you're just like talking to a real woman. No, well, it's not. That's your
Alexa,
problem.
Increase it.
You know what I see happening is, especially right now in the environment that we're in, where you have all these allegations of sexual harassment, sexual abuse, that sort of thing. A lot of these guys who have self-confidence issues, who are already introverts, who already maybe have issues talking to women, are going to revert to this sort of thing to avoid any of those kind of situations.
Yeah, you heard the part in the promo there about, well, if it makes somebody happy, then, what's the big deal? I guess in the end, if somebody is not connecting with humans and finds themselves connecting with a machine, I guess there could be an upside to that. But I think there's an obvious, downside to that as well. But anyway, at this one particular expo, police chief said that the event was ridiculous, adding there's nothing scientific about having sex with machines. Now, that is kind of the weird thing about this, is how they're trying to, it's not like just some crazy sex convention,
right,
that they're actually trying to legitimize this in a scientific way, bringing machine and humans together.
Sure.
No, you're tricking humans. That's all we're doing. We're tricking certain parts of our brain so it seems like something is going on, but it's not. It's still a machine. How could you talk about me like that? I'm sorry, machine. I'm sorry, robot. Come here. Let me hold you. I didn't mean to offend you. Now, ahead of this year's events, organizers have been told about terror threats from an international group. As a precaution, organizers have hired security to patrol the new venue in North London for the duration of the conference. All right. So there we go. When you get your sex doll coming in the mail anytime soon?
No.
No?
I'm good, thanks.
Wait for the new models until they're a little bit more lifelike. Welcome to the Wake.Show. Good morning, everybody. And hey, do you try to eat healthy during the holidays? Yeah. And for my wife, when are you talking about the fraud? Do you guys want to talk a little fraud?
Well, I think it's important this time of year, and there's actually a friend of the show that we might have on before the week's over, because he's having some issues, not fraud issues, but having issues that are typically prevalent this time of year.
So my wife and I have been using OfferUp and Nextdoor for different things, and so we are trying to get rid of some of our stuff. We go to get rid of one of our couches, and we ended up being part of a scam.
Oh,
like it's exhilarating. On one hand, you're angry. Like if I could track this, if this person was in front of me right now, I'd shoot him right in the face. But here we go. I'm going to go through the string of this conversation, and so you can see how they suck you in. Because here in the beginning, it's exciting. We put up this couch for $250. It's a nice black leather couch.
Right.
My wife's had it for like 7-8 years. Originally bought it, it was $500, $600, $700, and she just wants to try to get a little something out of it, right? So immediately, here we go. Hey, this is Lisa from OfferUp. I had to text you with my husband's cell. My mind is giving me a headache. Hold on. Oh, wait, I got to back up a little bit here. Oh, geez. Oh, my gosh. This is so long. All right. I would like to buy your beautiful black real leather sofa, a Decoro, for $250. You got it. Do you have a truck or a way of transporting it? My husband and I will be around, blah, blah, blah. She goes, is the condition of the item okay? Are you okay with the price? Willing to pay your asking price you requested? I do hope the condition is as you have stated and the item is exactly as shown in the picture, right? Because I am getting it for Christmas. And my wife responds back, yes, I'm fine with the price. I appreciate it. Da-da-da-da. Doesn't seem to be any marks. Blah, 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 blah. So it comes back to her, okay. Then she immediately messages back and goes, okay, I'm willing to add an extra $40 for you to reserve it in my favor. So my wife comes into the bedroom and she tells me this. She goes, and I'll be mailing a cashier's check for the payment, which is the best option for me at the moment. Once the bank posts the fund on Monday, which shouldn't take more than a day, I'll arrange for the shipping. Besides, I will ask my movers to come for the pickup at your location, so you do not need to pay a dime for the shipment. Let me have your name, address, cell number, so I can arrange for the payment. Well, when she read me that, I gave her this look. Because I don't know why, it just rang weird in my head.
Yeah.
I guess is at the end. It's like because the cashier, I'll be sitting at it just sounded like one of those. It just sounded scammy.
Sure.
It sounded scammy.
All of a sudden, then
I guess I don't need this behind me right now. It sounded very scammy. And that looks awesome. That's great set design right there. My desktop.
it's all right.
So this person then says, well, I'll put 40 on top for you to hold it because it might be a week before my movers come. Well, now this these are the little things they do to suck you a little bit, more and more in. Well, not only are you getting a full price offer, but you're going to get $40 on top of that. Well, now you're even more excited. You can't wait to make this transaction happen. So my wife goes, great. It's reserved for you. I'll hold it until da-da-da-da. And so then we start going back and forth. My wife's a little bit nervous because this is a South Dakota number, and then the numbers change, and she goes, hello, my cell is messing up. Here's my husband's cell. You can text me there. Besides, I will text you with it now. Which I don't know. I don't know what part of the scam that is once they switch over to a different number. I guess maybe the first number that they're texting with you from is some kind of a ghost number.
Yeah.
One of those things.
It's not traceable or something.
Right. And then when they follow up and go, hey, let's start using this number. I don't know if it's something a little bit more direct. But anyway, she messages back, goes, it's Lisa from OfferUp. I will keep you posted ASAP with your payment tracking number and promise me you won't sell to another buyer. The payment will be mailed out to you ASAP, and keep me posted as soon as you get it. Thanks. Take it off from OfferUp. And my wife goes, I promise. The couch is yours. I'll take down the listing so you feel more comfortable. You're all good. I hope you love the couch as much as I did. It's so comfortable, and the only reason I'm letting it go is because we recently got some furniture out of storage, and it matches our house better. It's a beautiful couch in great condition. Okay. Good. And so then we get a message back. Hey, I had to text you with my husband's cell. Mine is giving me a headache. We text through here, okay? Waiting for your response to know if you got this text message. Lauren, you there? Yes, I responded to the other number. I marked the couch as sold, da-da-da. You can respond here for now. My phone is acting up. So they do a little switcheroo on the phone number. I'm not sure what, why or, what happened there. But then this person, and again, the reason that I'm breaking this down is because this can happen to anybody. And we were in the process, we're in the middle of this before. And luckily, it's because she and I were talking with each other. Lauren and I are, having conversations about this. So we're able to go, this doesn't feel right. This just feels weird. This doesn't feel right.
You get that intuition.
Yeah.
Well, and she's even writing, she goes, it makes it seem like they're really moving.
Right. Because in my head, I'm like, if she's in South Dakota, why would you spend all that money on a couch here in Florida to have it shipped up there when you could easily find a couch this nice for the same price?
Sure.
Including shipping. I will like you to have the check deposited once it's delivered to you. Also, the broken English, the weird phrasing was another little thing.
Definitely a red flag.
I will like you to have the check deposited once it's delivered to you. And then she goes, yes, I will deposit it, da-da-da-da. Lovely. Where are you located? South Dakota. Kind look out for the check. It's been mailed out. Oh, wow. Did you move from St. Pete or something? And then the person goes, and because she goes, I'm curious and how you came across the St. Pete listing from that far away. Because, whatever. And then the person just replies, my movers will handle the pickup. She goes, that's fine. I was just wondering how my listing popped up in South Dakota. And then the person responds, okay. So not answering these questions at all. So then this is where my wife and I are like, all right, we got to figure something else. She's starting to freak out. I'm at a gig, actually. I'm out, this was Saturday. So I'm actually doing a holiday party. I'm doing a Christmas party at a 55 plus community. And I'm getting these texts. My wife is freaking out. So my wife then sends back, can you give me a little insight? I'm sorry to be questioning, but I'm just skeptical of online sales given today's day and age. And by the way, this is important. Listen to this because
She said that's also when she called the police.
We will get to that part because she did call the police. Yeah. And I want to read this to you because I don't ever feel bad about asking questions. You know, if you're having any kind of a, you know, a transaction going like this, any kind of don't feel bad at all by going, hey, this doesn't feel right. And considering this day and age, I'd like to get more information, because we did that. And that's when stuff started falling apart for this person. Can you give me a little insight? I'm sorry to be questioning, but I'm just skeptical of online sales given today's day and age. I'm just wondering why you decided to purchase a couch located in St. Pete when you're in South Dakota, mainly because of the amount you're paying for the couch plus cost to pay movers to bring it to you. You could probably get a nice couch in your hometown. I'm not trying to be offensive at all, just cautious. I'm sure you understand. And they kept going. This wasn't like all of a sudden they're like, oops, they're on to us. Let's go. They kept working. I understand. Actually, I bought things on OfferUp in any states, and this is not my first time purchasing things on OfferUp. Besides, I saw your item nice and okay. That is why I want to purchase it. Besides, there's nothing bad purchasing items from other states, as long as you paid for what you're purchasing. Like I said before, there is nothing to worry about the shipping. The item will pixel something up by my movers once the check clears into your account. And then, but my wife wasn't messaging back because she was a little nervous at this point, and she called the cops to run this by him.
Yeah.
The person all of a sudden messages back, did you get my text? And we go, yeah, sorry, it was late, da-da-da-da. And my wife goes, thank you. I was just getting a weird feeling about the whole thing. I'll hold the couch for you. So then the person goes, what weird feeling are you talking about? Because I thought it was weird that you're in South Dakota buying a couch from Florida. I'm not trying to be offensive, but the price you're paying for the couch plus the cost of shipping could probably get you a nice couch much closer. And then she goes, I know, but my husband loved your couch. Well, good. I guess that's all that matters then. And then the person messages back the next day going, I will send you a tracking number. So here's the thing. So ready? Here we go. Here's where the scam comes in. I want you to know that the check has been mailed out to you. Kindly watch out for it. And also the sum of $2,150 was sent due to the fact that my movers have other items to pick up, such as furnitures, washing machines, etc. Once the check is delivered, kindly have it deposited so that the funds will be available in your account within 24 hours. You can have your funds deducted, and the rest will be for the movers. Did you hear that shit?
Yeah.
This is where the scam comes in.
Yep.
Because what happens then is they send you this a cashier's check. You put it in your bank. It posts. You go to take out your $250 for you, and then give the rest to their movers. But here's what's going to happen: the movers won't be there. The person will decide they don't want the item and go, "Oh man, I tell you what though, why don't you do this? Why don't you? Because for your troubles, why don't you go ahead and keep the $290 that I said I would give you,
right? And
just go ahead and wire the rest to this account." And when you do that, because you're thinking, we all think when you get a cashier's check that it's good as cash.
Sure. It
used to be like that, but I guess it's not anymore. That or money orders.
Well, they can recall them, yeah.
Right. So what happens is you deposit this money. It looks like it's in there. Then it doesn't. Yeah, the money's not. I guess the check ends up being bad, or like you said, they recall it, or however that works. And next thing you know, you are giving them your money. But here we go. So my wife is not like me. Like I don't want to bother people. I don't want to put anybody out. So I don't want to offend anybody. So I would handle this in a very different way. But she goes, "What? Wait, what? The couch is only $250. The check should be for $250. I'm not cashing a $2,100 check to pay for your movers. They should be paid separately. I'm simply trying to sell a couch. I'm sorry, but this is becoming a lot more of a hassle." And then the person goes, "Like I said in the text, I have other items which the movers will need to pick up, including yours. So the fee was added all together. So once the check is deposited and clears, deduct your $290, and the rest will be given to the movers on the process of picking up the item. And just for you to hand over the balance to them on the process of pickup. Besides, the check will be delivered to you tomorrow." My wife goes, I will not cash a check for more than $290. I'm sorry, but paying your movers is not my responsibility. I'm not comfortable with, and this is what I love about my wife. This is one of the reasons why I married her. It's one of the reasons why I married her, because she brings this to the table. I'm sorry, but I'm not paying your movers. It's not my responsibility. I'm not comfortable with taking a check for that amount. You should pay your movers separately. So the person is still trying to work us. What is the difference in depositing the check for $290 and a check for $21.50? Still on the same process. The check has been sent out already. Can't do anything for a woman? Question mark. So now they're trying to guilt us.
Sure.
Can't do anything for a woman? Can't you assist a lady out? So again, they're foreign. They're not in this country.
Yeah, but they're trying to use like common slang.
Right. They're trying to translate, like, can you help assist out?
Right.
Can you assist a lady out? I almost want to put that on a t-shirt. And then my wife goes, no. You deposit a check straight from your phone. There's no cash involved. Huh? Fine then. I'm sorry. I wish you had said something sooner. I would have said the same thing. And though you were sending me a cashier's check for the price of the couch, I sent you a cashier's check plus the mover fee. Besides, I told you that the movers will come over for the pickup. I really love the couch. I will be more than happy to get this done. And then frowny face. So now trying to shame, using emotes,
right.
Trying to shame my wife. And she goes, I understand, but I don't know why you would choose to do it that way without asking first. So they go on to say, I'm so sorry. I was just in a rush. Because they're still trying to work, but they've got my wife on the line. As far as they're concerned, this is still a deal that they can close, that they can scam her out of this money. I'm so sorry. Things, just accept my apology. And then my wife goes, I'm so sorry for all the confusion, but what you're asking me, a stranger, to do is very unusual. I'm not comfortable doing it. That's a large amount of money, and I'm not comfortable with it. I will rip up the check you sent so you know that it has not been cashed. I am an honest person who would never try to take advantage of another person. I'm just not comfortable doing what you're asking me to do. We are total strangers. And then the person goes, I trust you. That is why I'm not worried about the money sent to you. Yeah, so this stranger trusts us. The wife goes on and says, I'm sorry, I can't help you. It's a large amount. I'm not comfortable. And that is that. So my wife did call the cops, and they said this is a scam, but there's nothing that they can do about it. We're waiting to see if that cashier's check comes in the mail. And so my wife said, listen, if it comes in the mail, don't touch it. Grab it with some plastic because there'll be fingerprints on it. And I'm going to take it right down to the sheriff's office and turn it over to them. Now,
you think the check's coming?
Yes, I think the person mailed a cashier's check.
Huh.
Maybe not. Maybe they're waiting for something else, but I think they did. Because my wife was talking about the movers aspect of this, and I go, honey, there's no movers. There's no movers.
Right.
I promise you, I guarantee you, and we even looked up because you can go to Snopes,
right,
and you can go and look up articles online that address this particular.
No, it's common. I've heard this kind of narrative before.
Yep. This scam in general, and this is exactly what they do. And there's not going to be any movers. There's not somebody that's going to show up. What's going to happen is, or what would happen if we kept going down this path, is she's been commenting the whole time.
Yeah. I thought you knew that. That's why I've been kind of repeating what she's writing there.
So yeah. So I said this. Don't even worry about it. There's no movers coming. Because then I'm freaking out. Saturday night, I get home at 2:45 in the morning after my last gig. My wife's still not home because she's out. She was out with some friends celebrating a birthday, and all the lights are on in the house because she was freaked out. And I'm walking, and I didn't realize that my wife should have been home. And so now I'm walking around the house. All the lights are on. My wife's nowhere to be found. And now I'm thinking some people have broken in and stolen her, or however that works. And I was freaking out on Saturday night. But finally, she came home. Everything is okay. But yeah, had we kept, if this cashier checks comes, I promise you, and we deposited it, I promise you that this person would have said, oh, you know what? There's something going on. My movers aren't gonna be able to do this. You can keep the $290. Just wire me the rest of that money. And that's how this scam works. But luckily, we got out in front of it. We also asked about, should we be concerned? I mean, we gave them our address and phone number and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They said, no, that's, no information that you can't, somebody who's a little diligent can't find on the internet.
Right.
They don't have any routing numbers. They didn't get your social security number or anything like that. So yeah, that was a little, that got our hearts racing there for a little bit.
Sure.
All right, Jonny Torres, what do we got coming up next, sir?
So, again, we got your boy Ryan coming up and performing downstairs. A little music action going on. And then we also got Hobbytown USA. We're going to talk Christmas toys and some cool things that are going on. I saw a drone being put together here in our green room.
Oh yeah,
and,
are we going down? Are we going to go? Oh, that'll be cool.
Yeah, so we're actually gonna try something really cool. Where we're gonna have multiple streams coming into the studio from downstairs.
So while Ryan Dunlap is playing his music, we're going to have drones and remote radio-controlled cars buzzing around him.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that.
Climbing the psych wall down there?
Yeah. All right. So, but we are going to have an RC demo, maybe a drone demo or something, and Susan's here from Hobbytown, and so we'll talk to her. And then I don't know if you want to talk to Susan first and then go to Ryan. I don't think Ryan's here yet.
No, yeah, let's go ahead and bring in Susan. Susan, come on in and
All right.
plop down here, because also... We're messing around. We're messing around with new camera angles today.
Yeah.
And a little, as we got the new show here. Susan, welcome into the show. How are you?
I'm fine.
Oh, wait a second here.
And Susan, you want to get as close to the desk there as possible.
Yeah, you slide. We'll get awkwardly comfortable.
And if you can, maybe pull up the website for Hobbytown USA.
All right, we can do that. So welcome to one of the reasons, or how we ended up running into you, is the owner here, Cords, who we'll have on the show every now and again. We're the partnership. Was in your store, and he just happened to register to win something.
He did.
He did, and won.
He won. He won a pool table.
Yeah, and it's not nothing.
No, sir.
Right. He wasn't. He didn't win a cue ball. He won a really nice pool table that we've got set up in the office here.
Yes, sir. I did see it before I came down here,
And
or came up here.
And so that right here, hobbytown.com.
Yes.
Is that you guys? All
Hobbytown,
right.
Tampa.
Oh, Hobbytown, Tampa. Let's not mess that up. And we'll make sure that we pull that up here behind us. Hobbytown. What? Hobbytowntampa.com?
That's it.
Just hit reload or whatever the...
Hobbytowntampa.com.
Hobbytown, USA.
Oh, USA Tampa.
I believe so.
All right, now let's...
I'm so used to going on the Facebook page.
Oh, well, maybe that'll be easier then. Let's do that. So, welcome in. I would imagine this is a very fun time of year for you guys.
It is. We not only get to sell these great toys, but we also get to play with them in the store.
What do you got here sitting in front of us?
I have here one of our it's 1/28 scale. It is an RC, remote control vehicle. That's a lot of fun to play inside and outside. So.
Well, all right. Well, this isn't you guys that I've pulled up. This is Melbourne.
That's Melbourne.
Oh, son of a.
You want Hobbytown Tampa on Facebook page. That's okay.
There we go. Hobbytown Tampa.
That's us.
Now it's liked. There we go. Oh, there's one of those drones right there. What's know before you fly? What's the know before you fly? Is that, hey, this isn't as simple as just grabbing a drone and you get to buzz it around town. You got to know some stuff.
Exactly. You need to know, is it required to register your drone with the FAA before flying, depending on what size and weight. Know where you can fly and where you can't fly, but then also knowing exactly how to fly so you don't lose your drone once it's in the air.
Do you need courses when it comes to...
No, you don't need courses, but you do need to do a little research and make sure you're buying a quad or a drone that's equivalent to your experience level. We always try for a newcomer to get them to start with something smaller, fly it around the house so it's not going to disappear.
Right.
And then move up from there.
My brother last year, one of my brothers last year, got a drone for his kid, and they live out in the Ocklawaha National Forest, the Ocala area.
Yes.
He, he's a man, so there's no reason to look at directions, right? And he gets this thing, and immediately he plays with it first. His son doesn't even get a chance to touch it. He goes, I hit a button, and all of a sudden the thing just shoots straight up, and then takes off and just disappears and never found the thing again, ever again.
Yes.
It got lost in the middle of the forest. Really? So what happened? What button was that he ended up pushing? Do you even know?
The wrong one, obviously.
But the interesting thing about these drones too is that you don't have to register all of them.
No, they have to be a certain weight. And the more they have on them, like the GPS tracking systems and the cameras and things like that, you have to be aware of what the rules and requirements are. So definitely go online, and we always tell people to do that search and see if it's required. Most drones now will have a notice inside the box that said you must register with the FAA.
How popular are these things now?
Extremely.
Just flying off the shelves?
Just flying out, yes. All the way from our little pocket drones to your professional grade. Very big with your property appraisers, your real estate agents, and other, Yeah,
because they're getting drones now to they hook nice cameras up to the bottoms of these things and take these aerial picture videos of their properties, like you were saying, real estate agents.
Exactly.
And it changes everything.
It does.
But those drones, that's in the $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 range, right?
We start those types of drones. We start in the $700.
Oh, $700.
Yeah, we have some drones where the camera systems and are a little bit. They're actually more expensive than the quad itself. So if you were to purchase the camera system separately, it's going to be more expensive than the actual drone.
Susan, what about comparing the quads to the other drones out there that have more propellers on them?
That's a technical question.
Okay, I don't know if you were into the technical.
Yeah, I'm not so much on the technical side. I can sell them and I can give you the basics, but I do have some sales techs they not only sell them, but they repair them. They do everything with these things, and so. So,
do you guys have, or do they have the drones now that can follow your kid on the soccer field?
Yeah.
Like you just hit a button, you don't have to worry about it, and you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Because I know the technology's out there, but I don't know how feasible it is for the average consumer. Because they have the cameras now; they'll sit on the tripod that'll sit there and follow your kid. But I would imagine you could do the same thing with a drone.
You end up with invasion of privacy issues when you do something like that, because you have to have permission from all the other parents that are on the field
to videotape their kid.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
And that's why, a lot of people will fly their drones around their own residence, but they have to be really careful about their neighbors. You can't fly over somebody else's house. You can't fly into their yard, especially if you have a camera on your drone.
Can't just hover in their backyard.
No, can't do that. That's frowned upon.
What about, has there been a downtick in your traditional remote control vehicles and stuff like that because of the drones, or that's
it just added to it just added to it. So
now they look like, I got to get a fleet. I'm going to have my remote control boat, I got my remote control car, my truck, and my drone, and I'm ready to go.
Exactly.
Now you just got to sync them all up.
Exactly. And that's why we have a rewards program at Hobbytown. This is a great lead-in.
Perfect.
Because the more you spend, the more points you get. The more points you get, the more coupons you get. So you can just keep spending more and more money.
That has got to be
There you go.
How do you work at Hobbytown USA and grow up, or do you never grow up?
Don't.
How long have you been in the hobby industry?
I have been in the hobby industry for 1 year and 3 months. That's it.
Where did you come from there?
Real estate.
Real estate into the hobby.
Real estate.
Look at you.
Exactly. It's interesting, the story. My sister owns Hobbytown USA. She owns the one in Tampa, and she owns the one in Brandon. And she was looking for a manager, and I was looking for a career change. And so I was looking to scale back and slow down a bit. And
does she have to constantly get on you about, hey, quit playing pool and get back on the floor and do some selling?
Not so much. And that's what makes it so nice is I love everything in the store, but I'm not a true, I shouldn't say this, but I'm not a true hobbyist where I don't fly, I don't drive the cars or anything like that. But I love the customers who come in. So,
what other kinds of stuff do you guys have at Hobbytown?
We have so much. RC is a big part of our business, but we carry science, everything science.
So rocket building your own rockets and
yes, we carry the Estes line for rockets. We also carry the Pinewood Derby for the Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts. So we carry their whole line of Pinewood. Arduino for robotics. We carry puzzles and models, all the paints that go with the models. We carry train sets all the way from N gauge up to O gauge. And toys. We have a lot of toys.
I think it would be dangerous for me to walk into your store.
You should come check it out.
I think I'd walk into your store excited, and then I'd walk out divorced. I have a feeling before I know it, I'd be dropping way too much money in there.
Bring cash, not your credit card. Then it's
smart.
not trackable.
Very smart. That's what we were just talking about this the other day because on the side I do weddings and gigs and stuff like that, and so people will tip you, and so do I take my tip money and put it into the family till, just immediately turn it over to her like I do all my other checks? Mm-hmm. or does that get to go into a different fund? And I was actually surprised that she goes, you should keep some of that, for.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was very nice of my wife to allow me to keep some of my money. How very generous of her. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for stopping by the studio today.
You're welcome.
I guess
my
here
pleasure.
in a couple minutes we're going to go downstairs. We're going to cut downstairs, and you guys are going to do a little demo down there.
Yes, sir.
So that's what we're going to do, Johnny. Before we get Ryan Dunlap up and running, they're just going to do a demo.
Yeah, your buddy Ryan's down there warming up. I can kind of hear him bleeding into the studio here a little bit. But yeah, I think we'll talk a little bit, cut to Ryan, and then once Ryan's done, we'll do the demo downstairs.
Well, Susan, thank you so much for coming by the Wake.Show. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Thanks for having us.
Hobbytown, USA. You guys are located where? North Dale Mabry.
11727 North Dale Mabry.
North Dale Mabry. Well, thank you so much for coming by, and Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas to you.
All right, this is the Wake.Show. Make sure that you like and share as much as possible, and we'll cut downstairs here in just a couple of minutes and get that demo and some live music. Now, I don't think I've ever met Ryan.
Oh, yeah?
No, I don't think I've ever met Ryan. Ryan Dunlap is somebody put me in contact with, the people over at Masteries, and he's got a CD release party on Friday night at Masteries, and this is his 4th album. So he grabbed his guitarist and came in there setting up downstairs. For those of you that are watching this morning, what do you think about the new graphic?
The blue?
What do you think, Johnny?
I like the blue. The blue looks sharp.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
We originally got the idea, the influence from a popular sports television program.
I don't. There's no shame. We can bring it up.
No, yeah. Well, and so I mean, we don't want to think people that we don't want to think that we were trying to trick anybody. I mean, I'm a big fan. I don't know if you are, but I'm a big fan of Pardon the Interruption, and Mike as well, who actually developed the graphic for us. We're both fans of that show, and so we replicated the menu style graphic after Pardon the Interruption on ESPN, and I guess it was a little too much like the graphic on ESPN.
I mean, I know that it was inspired by it as well, but I haven't watched Pardon the Interruption in a long time. I used to watch it a lot. As a matter of fact, it inspired one of the longest running bits I ever did on the radio back in 97X called 10-Second Take. We'll come back to that in a second.
I remember that.
But last week, I was at Boulevard Burgers and I looked up and and PTI was on, and I was like, oh shit. Like it looks the same. It looked the same. And so I came
we were a little too good at replicating our inspiration.
Yeah, and I was like, hey, can we just at least change the color so it's not, that orangish red? And you're like, yeah, sure, no problem. What color do you want? Let's go with blue. So I like blue. But yeah, Pardon the Interruption also inspired one of the longest running bits I've ever did on the radio. And that was when I first started watching PTI back in the early 2000s. I'm like, how do I do this? How do I duplicate this without just completely ripping them off?
Like we did.
And so that's when I came up with a 10-second take. And so we threw out a topic not for discussion. You had 10 seconds. I had 10 seconds. My show partner Seth had 10 seconds, and then we would move on. And it was a great bit for especially music intensive formats, because you set it up. All right, here's the question of the day. Then you'd play a couple of songs, take those phone calls, record them, and then put them back to back with a little bell in between each one. Ding, 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 ding. And you just run through them. Seth would have some joke. It was always some inappropriate joke. And then I would, try to have,
I did
be
love
intelligent.
That bit. That's a great bit.
And then there you go. So, yeah, Pardon the Interruption has influenced a couple of things in my career.
Yeah.
All right.
I did want to talk about, in the meantime, I'm going to text Cords here, or if you want to, just see if Ryan's ready, and I'll cut to me. So this was kind of an interesting situation, and I want to hear what people would do in this scenario, because two very awkward things happened at the same time for me last night. So if you've followed the show, I've moved to an apartment from a home, meaning that now I don't have a washer and dryer in my home.
You can come over and use mine, man. That washer's got a huge tub in it.
Good. And so I go to a laundromat now to do my laundry. Now, I don't go to the one in the community because, I don't know, you got to punch in a code and all this stuff, and I just, I'd rather just go to another place that has newer, nicer machines, and it's less problematic for me. So anyways, I go last night, and it's late. It's already probably about 10 o'clock at night, and I'm there doing my laundry. About halfway through, while my stuff is still washing. This guy who was seemingly either A, homeless, or B, on drugs, comes into the laundromat. No clothes. I mean, he was wearing clothes, but he wasn't carrying any clothes with him. So you knew he wasn't there to do laundry because I was the only one there. There were a couple other guys doing laundry, but they were outside the building. And so, of course, you know, my I guess anxiety, I don't know, my awareness is elevated because I'm wondering what this guy's doing there. And now, worst case scenario, he's there to do something he shouldn't be doing. Best case scenario, he just needs like a warm place to like sit down for a little while and relax. And so sure enough, he sits down at one of the benches there.
Next thing you know, he loads himself into one of the washing machines.
Into the dryer. The dryers are larger. But he sits at the bench and then he's just like sleeping. He's like nodding off and sleeping there at the bench.
All right, so he's not eyeballing you or anything.
No. But again, like the guy's seemingly either drunk or on drugs. And he had no business being there. And so uncomfortable situation number one is that here's a homeless guy in the laundromat and while I am doing my laundry. So like there's this guilt factor, right? Because I'm doing laundry in front of a homeless guy who or I think is homeless, who, you know, doesn't have, you know, 2 loads of laundry like I do,
right,
and a nice car, and, you know. And then factor B was my personal safety. And the entire time I'm thinking, okay, the guy's no business being here. For some reason, he's passing out, nodding out. I don't know if he's, you know, again, drunk or on drugs. Is there a possibility that this guy might attack me at some point while he's here? And so I was really torn with that whole situation because, again, it was 2 very different uncomfortable scenarios for me. But I don't know, like kind of your take. I mean, you know, in that situation, do you do something and be like, hey man, you know what? I got some extra clothes. Do you want it? You know, here's some stuff I don't use, you know, and you know, and maybe make that judgment that maybe he is homeless, or should I have tried to get out of there as quickly as possible, with the possibility that this guy might have tried to do me some harm?
Oh, that's a tough one. What happens when the old homeless guy wanders into the laundromat scenario? I don't know. I think you kind of gauge that as you take it as it comes. You go by your gut, and it did make you feel a little uncomfortable, a little uneasy. But in the end, you know, you sit there and you know, finish up your laundry.
Of course, David Capote's question in the comments is, what laundromat did I go to? I wish he did wash and fold, because I would totally pay for wash and fold. You know, this is it's a little laundromat. What I like about it is that it's tiny, it's out of the way, it looks like it's barely ever used, and it's open late, and it's on the just off of the corner of MLK and Armenia.
But if you engage the guy, then you know, you're trying to be nice and like, hey man, do you need a shirt or anything, an extra shirt?
Does that trigger it?
Right, because then you're chancing, you're sitting there and you got to hear this guy's bullshit story, and how he just came from the Veterans Hospital, and how his wife just kicked him out, and da-da-da-da-da, all of which are lies. And then you have to go through that. But then, like you said, but then you feel guilty because this guy, no matter what his story is still, he's still there. He's still homeless and drunk or on drugs at that point. I think he did the right thing. I think in a time like that, you just have to keep an eye on the guy.
Well, and I felt like a jerk too, because I was previously sitting on that bench, and when my clothes was just about ready, I had about an extra $5 or $6 in coins for the machines, and so like
you're walking around and you're jingling.
Well,
your pockets are jingling,
right? And so I'm picking up my quarters and stuff, like, because I don't want to leave them lying around and him possibly take the change that I need to finish doing my laundry.
I appreciate, man. I really appreciate the moral quandary that was in your head last night.
Oh, it was just like it was like in 10 different directions.
See, and by the way, for those of you that are so anti-Republican, that's my Republican friend right there. All right, he's a good man.
And I felt bad because part of me wanted to be like, does he need shirts, socks? Like, is there stuff I could give him? But I didn't want to make the assumption. Like, in all fairness, the guy's clothes was actually in decent shape. Like, it was like, he had decent looking sneakers and a decent looking sweatshirt, all fairly new, cleanish looking. But again, like I said, he was obviously definitely either drunk or on drugs or both.
It's fun. I want to say I had a similar but different experience last night with somebody who's homeless. Except this person who's homeless, I kind of know. I've gotten to know because he worked at the kitchen at Boulevard Burgers. And so I've gotten to somewhat know this guy over the last year or something like that. And a few weeks ago, he comes out to Park and Rec, and when I'm doing karaoke, and he's telling me that he's homeless and he's living on the streets right now, like just then and there. Somebody stole some money from him, and this happened and that happened, and next thing you know, he's on the streets. Well, he was back last night, but at Boulevard, and I'm sitting there talking to him, and he's telling me this whole story. And so in my head, Johnny, I'm going through the same kind of thing, which is, how much, because I can't just, I don't have any money, I'm not making a lot of money myself, and I can't just, and if I give away money, my wife finds out, and then it's a whole deal.
And I'm torn at that too. When you see these people asking for money, especially now where I live, I live around between Martin Luther King and Hillsborough Avenue, right by on the West Tampa side, you see these folks asking for money, and I'm torn because I have seen the news reports of these people who are and I've seen it myself, where you'll see somebody asking for money at the intersection, and they go and they get into like a fairly new car. And don't get me wrong, I get it. People go through hardships and that sort of thing. But I've never been, I've been fortunate where I've never had to ask for money in that way. But my skepticism meter just goes way up when I see these people hanging out at the intersections.
I think if you're somebody who donates, every year you have your charities, your causes, you donate your X amount of percent and this and that, you should never feel, you shouldn't feel guilty about that kind of stuff, because you give and you're not going to give at the street corner. Right. You give elsewhere. You don't feel good.
And that's the other thing that bugs me. There are organizations out there that provide for just these type of situations. And so it bugs me when I see a family of 4 standing outside of a Walmart asking people for money, and then a few minutes later you see them jump into their minivan and take off.
Right. When this guy last night at the bar, and I hate that I forget his name, because I've had multiple conversations with him, but it's like I said, it's somebody that it's not a friend. I don't know him, but I know him. I've met him. We've had conversations. And so as he's going through, man, I'm just, and I'm trying to do this and I'm trying to do that. He was talking about how he got arrested. He's like, I go down to the street corner with a sign that says, basically one of those will work for food. And he was like, he goes, the way I see it, it's a business card. I will paint your house for, and I can't remember what his prices are, but $20 an hour, I think it was. $20 an hour, I'll paint your house.
Yeah.
He goes, I dropped my prices because of blah, 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 blah. But so, he was going off about how the cops arrested him. He's like, oh, so some guy down the street, that guy over there who's in a crack house selling crack, you're not messing with him, but I'm on a street corner trying to get a job, and you guys are, messing with me. So he's going on. I didn't give him anything. I offered at the end, because I was getting ready, I was setting up for my trivia night. So I was finishing up my buffalo mac and cheese, and I was putting it in a box to go home. And I was like, well, listen, man, do you want the rest of my, because he was talked about being hungry. I go, do you want the rest of my dinner? I was just going to pack it up and take it home. And he's like, no, I got a burger coming, and that was that. But I don't know if he's sitting there, he just needed somebody to vent to for a minute. Like, man, life is just taking a turn for the worse right now.
Yeah.
Or if he was sitting there, talking, being like, in all due respect, every other homeless person that you run into that has this story of, and then they just, how, do you ever get caught up and they're talking really fast, they're telling you about this and about that, and in one part of your brain, like you said, your heart's going, man, I feel for you, but right. Your brain's going, God, it just sounds like you're sitting here in front of me just bullshitting me.
Yeah.
So well, I don't know.
Well, even at the Wawa the other day, I was at Wawa, and for some reason there's a high propensity of people asking for money at Wawa. But there was a lady, well dressed, with a coffee in her hand, and then came up and asked me. She's like, "Hey, do you have an extra $1 so I can catch the bus?" I'm like, and I don't carry cash. I plain and simple don't carry cash. It's not an excuse. But I'm like, okay, seemingly well dressed, warm cup of coffee in her hand, but yet she didn't have $1 to catch the bus. And mind you, it's like 9-10 o'clock at night. I don't even think the buses run at that time.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
All right. Well, Ryan's ready downstairs. So if you want to go ahead and make your way down there.
So what do we do? You're going to do the old? Am I firing up reporter or
if you want to?
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, use the don't use the llama one. Use either the shrimp or the.
So go to my email first.
There's a new link. Well, yeah, use the shrimp one. I've got fire ant. But
right, because if I go right to it, it's not going to connect me, right? If I just go right to reporter and click on my reporter app.
You need the link to specifically join our broadcast.
Are you sure? Because it says that I'm on.
Yeah, but see, like Cords is on it right now, but he's on a separate. He's doing his own thing. I don't know where that's going because it's not.
Is mine going to you? Because it says that I'm on. I see myself in the little window. I see our broadcast in the little window.
Yeah, I see yours.
Oh, you can't turn it sideways. What you have? Oh, it's got to stay like this.
I'll film you. No, you can turn it sideways. I mean, flip the camera around and I'll film you.
Well.
Oh yeah, no.
All right, so let me end call and reconnect. Okay, so I'll end call and reconnect. I hope this is compelling to everybody. All right, so let's confirm end. Done. Now if I turn it sideways, and there we go.
Yeah, but see, we got
this is pink shrimp.
We got them setting up downstairs.
Oh, cool. You can see it. All right, well, let's go ahead and head down there then. You should be able to pull me up right now.
Yeah.
Hit the little button to switch cameras around.
Sure. There we go.
All right.
All right, so let's go downstairs. We have Ryan Dunlap set up there. And you take your time, go slow, Cords. There's no reason for you to hurt yourself. We're here at the Bakemore Pies Studios in Tampa. And as you can see, we set up our little studio up in the attic. And then we come downstairs to the main area. We have a beautiful site wall. All right. Look at this. How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Which one's Ryan?
I'm Ryan.
Hi, Ryan. How are you? Let me get a microphone over here. And what's your name?
Addison.
Addison. Nice meeting you both. All right, so we're downstairs here at Bakemore Pies, and we got you guys all set up. You've sound checked. You're ready to go?
We're ready to go.
Ryan has a CD release party this Friday night at Masteries. Blind Pass. This is your fourth album.
Third album.
Third album. I've been saying fourth now for a couple weeks. My bad.
It's cool. We got a couple EPs, so it balances out to 4, I guess.
And what's the name of this new album?
It's called Memory Lane.
Are you playing a couple of songs off that?
We are going to do that.
How many do you have for us this morning?
We got a couple for you.
All right, let's do it. You can go ahead and go right from the first one into the second one. Don't worry about me.
All right, cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Dunlap.
Keep that on so we can record these guys.
Say love, where you been? And love, won't you come round again? Love, where you go? Sitting here waiting, blowing smoke out the window. Bought a minute in the back of a dance club. Not surprised she was gone when I woke up. Didn't even get a number, being so dumb. All she left was a T-better go cup. Thought I found a bit of castle in the sandbar. Skiing bills on the phone, big shamrock. Didn't get it, slipped in a boy at a beach. Said love, where you been? And love, won't you come round again? Love, where you go? Sitting here waiting, blowing smoke out the window. Thought I found Trying to swim the laps in a hot tub. Making plans I never keep till I get numb. Playing house in the broad, take a live above. Used to worry, but it was never really love, where you been? Ain't love, won't you come round again? Love, where you go? Sitting here, waiting, blowing smoke out the window. Time, boy, remaining patient. I'm looking for her and waiting on here. I'm losing time, boy, remaining. Said love, where you been? And love, won't you come round again? Love, where you go? Waiting, blow smoke out the window. Thank you, giant crowd.
It's late.
It's late. Smoke that I borrow back inside to drown my sorrow. Forget about today and damn sure not thinking about tomorrow. That jukebox going fail. Everybody found themselves somebody some. Oh, it's late, I'm late and lonely. Try to find another little thing coming away. Oh, it's late, I'm late and lonely. Try to find another little thing coming away. Like a late night place, my face on a fine dead end still. Laugh got me searching for a way to get through to the brunette, redhead, cherry blonde, loving them hips in the way they move. And that jukebox going fail through. Everybody found themselves somebody soon. Oh, it's late, I'm late and lonely. Try to find another little thing coming home. Oh, it's late, I'm late and lonely. Try to find another little pretty thing coming home. Don't care about your brothers or the name or your mother or the town that you call your home. Let's have a little fun and everything's fine. Gone in the morning. Oh, it's late, I'm late and lonely. Try to find another little pretty thing coming home. Oh, it's late, I'm late and lonely. Try to find another little pretty thing coming home.
All right, here you go. Chords, if you can. And then we're going to go right to the demonstration. All right, so thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming in.
Okay, thank you very much for having me.
You got your third album release coming up, or is it out right now?
It is not. It comes out Friday. It'll be available everywhere: iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, all that stuff, and then at all the live shows.
And what time you guys are firing up at Masteries on Friday?
We're going to start at 6. We're going to play straight through the album, the second set from like 7 to 8. So.
All right, that's this Friday night at Masteries. Blind Pass starting at 6 o'clock. Ryan Dunlap. Thank you so much, sir.
Oh, thanks a lot,
All right,
man.
pleasure meeting you both.
Absolutely.
All right, so Cords, now are we going out here for a demonstration?
So.
Okay. So if you were tuned in earlier to the show, you saw that we had Hobbytown USA in here at their Northdale Mabry, and they brought in some goodies. They brought in some RC vehicles. Where are we going to start here, Susan?
We're going to start with the drone.
Start with the drone. Inside, if you guys break something, that'll be hilarious. You know what it feels like, Cords? It feels like you're in a Terminator movie, and all of a sudden one of those drones found you and is now sizing you up, getting ready to annihilate you.
Looks very controlled.
So I see this has a camera at the bottom of this one too, Susan.
Yes.
What is this one of the $700 models?
No, this is the 119 price
What? $119?
point. 119.
$119? I can get one of these?
And you upload your software onto your cell phone, and you can attach it to the controller, and you can watch it. You can fly either by the controller or you can join a Skype.
That is amazing.
Very controllable.
What kind of range?
Further than you can see it.
What kind of range on that?
Further than you can see it.
Further than you can see it is the range. That is some range. All right. So that's $119. And that includes this controller that comes along with it?
Yes, sir. Sure does.
All right.
Everything in the box.
And then you said you can also download an app right onto your phone and
Onto
control,
the phone.
and control from there. That's all right. What's next? What do we have here?
This is a Team Associated Nomad DB8, 8-scale desert buggy.
8 scale? All right. Oh my God! That reminded me of those the commercials, those videos they're doing with that Tesla power button or whatever. As soon as you take off.
This isn't Radio Shack's radio controlled car.
You know, we've got that area out back, Cords, you know, that retention pond that's dry.
Right.
You know, plop a couple of these things in here. I think Johnny was saying that he has a RC car that he was thinking about bringing in today to race it. But it's not in this category. All right, so what like top speed of this thing?
About 40 miles an hour.
40 miles an hour, and how much does something like that go?
Starts at about 509.
Starts at 509, and this
And
is
it requires a 4-cell battery. They start at about 100.
all right. And the battery 100.
And the chargers start at $25 and up for a LiPo charger. For the high power charger, it's about 60. So you're looking about.
May I?
Yes.
Pick it up? All right. But when true hobbyists, they don't buy these things and that's it. There's always little things to add on, right? All kinds of accessories.
So like this came with different suspension, so I changed out the rate for the racing suspension, so it's fully adjustable.
Okay.
Has shock oil in it. It keeps the debris off of the shaft here, but with the cover, the dust covers. As you can see, there's clay on it. I'd go and drive it at the clay track. You can jump it around, knock it into stuff.
Now, if you're a novice, if you're somebody like me, if I were just to grab this thing and just go, would I be able to, would I get it down within a matter of seconds, or would I likely break a couple of things before I figured it out?
Well, you break a couple things before you break the car, at least.
All right, well, that's good. I'll break a couple of things before I break the car. Okay. Well, all right. Yes, of course I do. Ha!
There's your throttle.
Found the throttle.
Found the throttle.
Reverse is away from you.
All right.
Towards you. And steering, if you look at the controller, this is left, this is right. So, and the battery just died.
Oh, of course. Right as I go to.
That's okay, because we can flip you to the small one right behind you.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably best. I think that was the universe going, no, buddy. You don't hand him that kind of equipment. He'll break it.
So we'll give you the little one.
Okay.
That one does have the battery. Same. Yep. Same.
All right, backwards there.
This is your speed.
Yeah, it is.
Now this one is a 2-wheel drive, so it's a little heavy in the back end of it, so the wheels are spinning on it.
When you go out on the turf carpet out here,
oh, I've already got it jammed up.
You can drive it super well.
I'm good at doing donuts. There we go. That's the visual I'm looking for right there. All right. Well, thank you so much, Hobbytown USA, located on Dale Mabry, for coming in and bringing some toys for us today. What time is it? What time do you got?
I have
8:45. 8:45? Well, we have time. We still have more show. So thank you so much for coming in.
You're welcome. It was our pleasure.
And we're going to head back upstairs. Or I'm going to head back upstairs with Johnny. We'll talk about a couple of things that are in the news today. And if you're looking for some cool stuff this holiday season, make sure you check out Hobbytown USA in North Del Mabry here in Tampa. All right, back upstairs.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Nice meeting you both.
Don't go yet.
Well, Fisher makes his way up. Just want to remind everybody that we are going to have contests from time to time. Last week we gave away 2 tickets to Gas World Music Festival. We're going to have Dave Cox on, Executive Director of the Gas World Music Festival, to come and talk to us about that. We can still hear you guys, by the way. There we go. And if you want to register to win tickets or any of our contests, all you do is go to the Wake.Show. That's the Wake.Show, not .com or anything else. The Wake.Show. Head to the bottom of the website there, and you'll see our contest page where you can sign up to win some cool prizes. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was cool. How did it come off on the up here?
It got a little dizzying there towards the end as Cords was trying to follow the car around, but both segments, Ryan Dunlap, thanks to him again for joining us today. Great job. We've got the links to his Reverb Nation page posted in the comments section, and then of course Hobbytown USA showing us some cool things. Of course, everybody is wanting a drone these days, so that was real cool to see one here kind of in action.
Can we get a pin of the band name?
Yeah, I already did that. Okay. So that's the Reverb Nation there that's pinned.
Okay. Yeah, that was cool. They sounded great. That'll be this Friday night if you want to check them out at Masteries. As a matter of fact, Thursday nights I'm at Masteries doing trivia. If you guys want to come out and do that at 7 o'clock. All right, Facebook. Every time we do one of those bits where I have to go downstairs and then back upstairs.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a little out of breath. Although I can count that as far as some of my exercise.
Yeah, you'll get the points for it.
Facebook just got one step closer to becoming a literal embodiment of its name. On Tuesday, the company announced it's rolling out several new facial recognition features on its platforms. Once you agree to let Facebook use your face data, you gain access to new tools the company says will help protect your privacy and block catfishing attempts. Give us your face, and we'll give you more security. Give us the data to your...
Well, they already have your face.
Give us the data to your expressions.
I mean, I told you this the other day. The facial recognition software is even far more advanced than they're letting on. They've had to scale it back previously because people were freaked out at how good it was at recognizing people's faces.
In a blog post, the company described the new features that will soon be available to users who turn face recognition on. Facebook will alert you when photos of you are uploaded. That's good. Even if you haven't been tagged in them. This happens even if you aren't friends with the person you uploaded the photo, so long as you're included the audience group specified by the uploader's privacy settings. So is all of a sudden, are we going to start getting notices when our doppelganger is pinged? When all of a sudden we're going to realize, because a doppelganger is... somebody looks exactly like you, but not related to you.
That'd be really interesting. So I don't think it'll happen, but I think that would be really interesting.
Facebook will alert you if your face is included in a profile picture. This update is aimed squarely at preventing catfishing and revenge porn style attacks where someone creates a fake profile using intimate photos of a person without their consent. And finally, visually impaired users can now hear aloud who's tagged in photos alongside them. So if you're hearing impaired, you can't or you're visually impaired, you can't see, what's in the photo. You can hear Amy Swanson is tagged in a photo with you. The catch, of course, is that you'll have to authorize Facebook to access, store, and then match your face data with uploads across the site. So what do privacy experts think about this?
Oh, I'm sure they're hating it.
They balk at the idea of giving face data to enormous companies like Apple and Facebook, but the social media company has recently moved to further incorporate images of users into their security measures anyway.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I was going to say. They already have the facial recognition data. They already have hundreds, if not thousands, of pictures of you. And I'm sure legally they could probably say that they already have the right to use that data or your pictures for this very purpose.
So as a part of the announcement yesterday, Facebook published a blog post titled, "Hard Questions. Should I be afraid of face recognition technology?" featuring the above video. Neither, however, mentioned the ongoing lawsuit against Facebook over its handling of users' face prints. Facebook is currently fighting off a class action suit in Illinois that argues the company violated the state's Biometric Information Privacy Act. Adam Harvey, a counter-surveillance expert infamous for his anti-recognition makeup, spoke to Gizmodo back in October about Facebook's push to integrate. He says, quote, "When any information is so co-opted for security purposes, it becomes less secure to share. For example, sharing your mother's maiden name online would not be a good idea. Likewise, Facebook's proposed facial recognition product would make sharing your face online a security issue even more so than it already is." I think I'm with Johnny on this one. This is already a foregone situation. We can sit there and be scared of it, but it's happening, and even if there's an uproar and it gets kind of quelled right now, it won't take long before it resurfaces again. They'll
just pull back on the technology like they've done before, and until everybody's kind of ready or waiting for it, and then they'll release it.
You coming out to karaoke tonight?
Unfortunately, got family in town from
stupid family
Colombia. And so going to be hanging out with them, showing them around town. They're kind of doing the Florida tourism thing. And so I was able to convince them to come over to this side of the state, being that they were going to do the Disney thing. And so we'll probably be out doing dinner stuff. Who knows? Maybe I'll take them by, show them an American pub. I don't know why I tried a British accent on that, but an American bar, karaoke. Although they have karaoke in Colombia, but that might be fun too. Although they have 2 daughters, and I don't think they're over 21. Yeah.
So let's talk about your boy.
Oh, jeez.
Let's turn to politics here in the state of Florida. Judge Ronald V. Swanson said there was probable cause that to launch an investigation by the Senate Rules Committee, but also referred the case to prosecutors for possible public corruption. And we're talking about Senator Jack Latvala here and he's out of Clearwater.
Correct.
All right. Florida Senate investigation into sexual misconduct allegations against Senator Jack Latvala has been referred to law enforcement after a retired judge found that the Clearwater Republican may have committed both sexual harassment and a sexual assault against multiple women, including allegations of quid pro quo physical contact or sexual intimacy, quote, in exchange for support of legislative initiatives. Now, he is denying this vehemently. My dear friend here, Jonny Torres, is actually a friend of his son.
Yeah.
And has met Jack a couple of times.
Yeah, a number of times.
So how does this play? Because you got a personal relationship with his son, and at the same time, you are well involved in politics here in the state of Florida.
Yeah, well, and I comment publicly on this sort of thing all the time. Of course, we've talked about this at length in other instances, right? Other similar situations, and he is probably the one, I would say, even at a national level, when it comes to these allegations, that is actually fighting back and trying to prove his innocence. And it goes back to are we as a society, as a culture, and certainly is process being completely dismissed, is due process being completely thrown out the window in this situation. And so he has been making a very aggressive attempt not to salvage his gubernatorial campaign, because I think that's already done, but really to salvage his name at this point, because he's someone who, again, has been in the legislature for almost 2 decades and has never had any of these accusations come to light before until he decided to run for governor.
Well, the Special Master's report delivered to the Senate Rules Committee on Tuesday by retired Judge Ronald V. Swanson concluded there is probable cause to launch an investigation and hearing by the Rules.
Swanson.
Oh, that's funny. That's a real Ron Swanson.
Yeah.
in politics.
In our state government.
Yeah. By the rule. And Ron Swanson, for those of you that don't know, was a character on Parks. Was it called Parks and Rec?
Park and Rec.
Park and Recreation.
Parks and Rec, yeah.
Parks and Recreation, something like that. Yeah. And a great character, but he is a very much an anti-government, what do they call him? A libertarian, an anti-government libertarian.
Correct.
Anyway, sorry for the tangent there. But in a stunning development, going back to the story out of TampaBay.com, the special master also referred the case for criminal investigation, concluding a witness other than the complainant, and seemingly confirmed in a text message from Latvala that appear to violate ethics rules and may violate laws prohibiting public corruption. So this is what's on the table then.
Yeah.
Are you torn when it comes to this, or can you easily separate it?
Well, again, I'm not that close to Chris or Jack. I mean, Jack's been supportive of me and some of the political things I've done, as well as his son, and so it's sad, right? It's unfortunate because this is a family that has dedicated themselves to public service. They're both great guys. They are also small business owners. Chris has since gone off on his own to pursue real estate, but Jack also owns a business out in the Clearwater area, and so you're talking about someone who has made every effort to contribute to his community and to contribute to his state, and to see him brought down this way is sad. It's unfortunate, and of course, as being someone who knows them, even maybe on the periphery, you hope that these things aren't true, and he has every right to defend himself.
Oh yeah, the report found probable cause for 4 of 5 specific allegations made by Rachel Perrin Rogers, the Senate legislative aide who came forward with the initial complaint against Latvala. It described a Senate in which alcohol is commonplace in legislative offices during the day. Does that surprise anybody? No. Provided graphic detail of how Latvala allegedly groped and grabbed Perrin Rogers in an elevator and how he allegedly arrived drunk from Grey Goose vodka in the Senate Majority Office on April the 18th. The report.
Well, and part of that situation specifically with Rachel Rogers, and I know her husband, is also that there are text messages, and this was, I believe, prior to her marriage, but that where after this supposed sexual harassment incident took place, she was asking to meet with him privately in his office. And again, I mean, all the women that I've talked to have said that when you have been sexually harassed or abused by someone, the last thing you do is ask them to meet privately, especially in his or her office.
Right. The report also noted several incidences memorably centered on donuts, a favorite food of his. In one incident, Perrin Rogers attempted to calm him down after he got angry one morning when the majority office had no donuts. Latvala responded, "I always appreciate you," and then briefly squeezed her love handle section. The Senate did not include any identification, so we'll see how this plays out. A couple more things before we get out of here. Teacher is in love with a kid again.
Florida.
It's out of Winter Haven, Haines City, here in the state of Florida. But the suck thing about this, all right, so she meets somebody via Xbox One online. She thinks is 19. She's 27. And I guess, whatever, they hit it off. She starts sending these nude photos to him. Well, then come to find out, the kid's not 19. He's 15. So she immediately turns herself into the cops and says, "I'm sorry about it. Hey, I didn't know. I thought he was 19. But here's the thing, because, maybe we can have a discussion about gray area and about whatever at some point, and she doesn't get in trouble. But then she goes back to the conversation and continues to send nude photos of herself.
Even after finding out that he's young.
Right, because at this point, she's already hooked, and she's in love. And according to her, she's never connected with somebody like she's connected with this kid online. Well, now you're done.
You know what it just reminded me of was that one lady. Remember that it went national. It became a national story. By the way, for some reason we're not getting a feed. I'm getting it to the I'm getting it to the.
When I went downstairs, I think it turned
Anyhow,
off.
what I was going to say is there was that national story about that teacher who fell in love with her student. And again, everybody was thinking, yeah, right, there's no way that this grown woman could be in love with her student. And sure enough, once she got out of jail, or I think even before she got out of jail, they got married. Once she did get out of jail, I believe they even had a kid together.
Oh, yeah. That's a famous one. All right, so I want to end on a couple of stories that aren't going to drag you down. Although the last story that I'm going to bring up is about a couple dying, but I don't think it's a depressing story. Netflix versus cable. Subscribers are neck and neck. I just want to throw this out there. In this day and age, the balance of power in paid television is shifting. In one corner, you have Netflix. In the other corner, everyone else, this article says.
Yep.
According to a new report from PricewaterhouseCoopers, the number of Americans who subscribe to cable TV is now on par with the number of those who subscribe to Netflix. And it's only a matter of time before the Reed Hastings and company will pull ahead of the pack. Based on a survey of 2,000 consumers, they found that 73% subscribe to traditional paid TV service, down from 76% last year, and 79% in 2015. Meanwhile, the percentage who said they just subscribed to Netflix is also 73%, putting it dead even with cable, and that is on the rise. Do you know the number of people who stream TV content from the internet is growing across age groups, and especially, guess which age group is growing the most?
45 plus.
50 to 59.
Yes.
Which seems counterintuitive at first. You'd think it'd be the younger generation, but those in the 50 to 59-year-old category were 63% said they streamed TV content versus 48% last year.
They're also the fastest growing demo. In fact, 65 plus, I believe, is the fastest growing demo on social media, or 55 plus. And the other reason this is such a big story is because Netflix is also concerned about Disney's recent acquisition of the Fox properties, because basically that gives them far enough content to be able to put up a serious competitor to Netflix, which right now, sorry, as the story said, it's Netflix and everybody else. Well, the only company I think Netflix should be worried about is Disney.
Let's see here. So I guess
also on the streaming front, 5 years ago when we were having the Republican National Convention here in Tampa, or almost 6 years now, the Xbox, so the folks from Microsoft, were already saying that people were streaming more content than they were playing video games through the platform, through the Xbox device. And that was almost 6 years ago. And so, this has just been a huge incline for all streaming.
And one of the things that they say is also responsible for this uptick, especially with the people 50 to 59 years old on Netflix, is that Netflix is not, unlike network television, is not afraid to program to the 50-year-old.
Right.
Network programming, they want to program to the 18 to 34-year-old. That's the money demographic. And you're like, wait a second, that's BS, Fish. They don't have any money. The 50-year-old is the one with all the money. Yeah, the 50-year-old has more money than the 18 to 34-year-old, but they're not just spending it willy-nilly.
Right.
They're very, very particular about how they spend their money. But the 18 to 34-year-old, it's getting money for the first time in their life. They're going from this job to this job. They're got a raise at 22 and then a raise again at 27. They have, that's why it's such an important demo, because not only will they spend their money a little bit more freely, but this is also the time in our lives as humans, in our development, that we become brand loyal. And so you want to get into the 18, 19, 20, 21, 24-year-old and get them to love your product now, because by the time they're 50, they will have stuck with that product and they're not changing. But it's good for the 50 to 59-year-olds, because adults complain all the time that there's no entertainment for them, that every GD thing out there is geared to a moron. Sorry, what I mean by that is a young adult.
No, but you're right. I mean, you look at the content that's on Netflix. First of all, there's plenty to choose from: movies, documentaries. There are a lot of documentaries which are going to appeal to that older
Black
demographic.
Mirror is one of the best documentaries out there, you were saying?
Definitely one of the best shows, but not a documentary, thankfully, not yet. But, for instance, there's a show called Frankie and Grace, I believe, with Jane Fonda and Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting her name now. She's a famous comedian. They used to do like the little operator bit. Anyhow.
Lily Tomlin?
Lily Tomlin, that's right. And so, that show's actually pretty good. I've watched a couple episodes because the ex watched it. And so they are developing more programming for that age demographic.
And then our last story this morning. Like I said, it's a story about death, but I don't think it's a sad story. It's a story about a couple married 71 years, die within minutes of each other, and this always fascinates me. No phrase better to describe longtime Medina resident Bob and Ruth Kretschmer, who died within minutes of each other on Friday, 5 days after they celebrated their 71st wedding anniversary. Ruth Kretschmer, a one-time Republican politician who chaired the DuPage County Board Zoning Committee and served 20 years on the Illinois Commerce Commission, had been in hospice for 2 years. Jeez, said the couple's daughter. And then Bob was a World War II veteran. A two-time Purple Heart recipient, was diagnosed with cancer earlier in the year. They both wanted to die in this house, and if my father went first, that wasn't going to happen for my mother. He hung in there for her. After she passed away, he asked why everyone was crying. Then he passed away. Aw. They worked it out between them through the grace of God. The arc of their two lives terminating as they did within 15 minutes of each other.
That's remarkable.
It is insane.
That's the way to go. That's the way to go.
Yep. Yeah, they did something right. Yeah. They pleased the gods. They pleased the universe.
Well, I think soulmates are a very real thing. I don't think everyone ever gets to. I don't think everyone gets to meet theirs, but I think you hear this so often. I think it's in many ways kind of what you hear about women's cycles, that when they work together for a long period of time, they tend to get on that same cycle. I think people that live together, I think they're biologically more connected than we realize, and I think this is proof of that.
I was reading an article. This has been years ago. Some psychology thing about how people tend to look like each other later on in life, the longer that they're with each other. And the article said it's because of empathy. Because when your partner, someone you're in tune with, is telling you a story and they're all excited, like, oh, at work today, this happened, da-da-da-da-da, your facial expressions move with them, although it'll be much slighter than theirs. Your face is moving with theirs. And so over a long term, you guys are constantly mirroring, or we mirror our partners. And so slowly after time, that is going to, I guess, change the muscle structure and whatnot. And so slowly but surely, you start to look a little bit more like each other than you did in the very beginning.
Well, and you pick up mannerisms, right? You pick up little sayings and little mannerisms and things from your significant other, and it becomes kind of part of your natural being. And so, again, I think that all that stuff kind of lends itself where you truly become one in some ways.
They say that this particular couple, who were married 71 years and then died within 15 minutes of each other. She was in hospice on and off for the last 2 years, and then he was diagnosed with cancer earlier in the year. And the family says he said he was going to wait. He wasn't going to let her go for it. He wasn't going to let her be alone, rather. And so he was going to hold on, and he did. She went first, and then he said, "Why are you guys crying? Why is everybody crying?" And then he passed away.
Well, and after being with someone for that long, it's incredibly devastating for someone to then have to live on once they've lost that someone that's been in their life for so long. And you almost think that, at that point, isn't it better to just move on with them?
And they also say that, this couple embodied the maxim of opposites attract. They're saying nothing alike. She was very serious, proper, highly intellectual, an accomplished speaker, an avid reader, avid member of the Republican Party. He, on the other hand, was described as the life of the party and much more fun-loving and laid back. Made it work for 71 years. All right, that is the Wake.Show today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We had a big show. Thank you to all our guests this morning, Eric Stratman, Ryan Dunlap, and Susan Collins. Is that her last name? Or am I confusing her with the representative out of...
Yeah, I think so.
Susan, do you remember her last name?
No, Susan from Hobbytown.
Susan from Hobbytown, USA on North Dale Mabry. Thank you so much for stopping by as well. Like and share. And don't forget now you can find us on multiple platforms. So if Facebook Live is not working for you like you want it to, you can always go to YouTube Live, Periscope, Twitter, and just do the sound portion of this. If you can't watch, you're driving in your car, you want to save some data, go to Mixlr. MIXLR, right? It's not two X's, it's just MIXLR.
MIXLR, that's right.
To get the audio stream only. Have a great Wednesday. I'll be out at Park and Rec tonight for karaoke from 8 until midnight. See you out there. Be safe. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. And we'll do this again tomorrow morning.